Hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm Ryan in Singapore. Welcome to Mindfulness Hour. So, once a week, Saturday morning here in Singapore, could be Friday night for you. We sit together or we lie down together. We hang out for an hour, do 10 minutes of intro talk or chit chat, and then we move into our 40 minutes of practice. So today's practice is going to be the body scan. So a favorite of mine. I like body scan for a variety of reasons. Well, I'll chat about that here in a moment. Body scan, I find, is one of the most accessible forms of mindfulness practice. And why is it accessible? Because a lot of times, if I ask you to sit and do a 40-minute meditation where you just focused on the breath for 40 minutes, if you've never meditated before, you might go, wow, this is really hard, and this is boring, and this is pointless. Like, what am I doing? This is really, and I think I reflect back on, I think the very first time that I sat in my MBSR intro class and was asked to pay attention to my breath and pay attention to sounds in the room, and kind of going, well, what am I doing here? What is this? This feels an awful lot like doing nothing. How can doing nothing be helpful for me? And I think that if you sit around and you do mindfulness of breathing for a long period of time, you'll find it, especially if you're a beginner meditator, you'll find that it's really challenging. And so the body scan practice is a practice where we don't hold our attention in one place for the entire meditation, that we do move the attention around. We start, in the most body scans, we'll start in the toes, and we'll work our way up to the top of the head, and other body scans, in fact, it depends on, I guess, where you do it. We'll start at the crown of the head and go down to the toes, and I guess it doesn't really matter where you start. Why do I, as an MBSR teacher, start at the toes? It's just from John Kabat-Zinn's tradition. Why does John start at the toes and not at the head? John says because we spend so much of our time up here in our heads that let's start our body scan as far away from the head as possible. So that really, it's a good reason, as good a reason as any, I suppose, to get started at the toes. And you will find that if you haven't done much meditation, that especially my the upcoming course that I'm creating is the getting to the timer. You'll find that if you are just using the timer of Insight Timer and you're not using any recorded track, that wow, this can be hard. If you set the timer for 45 minutes and you try to sit for 45 minutes and keep your attention focused on your breath or any single object of meditation, you'll find that it's very challenging. And I think the most important factor, just to kind of take a little side trip, the most important factor in keeping yourself on target in those times, if you do choose to do a 45-minute meditation focusing on one thing, is just to remember self-compassion. Remember that you are not going to be able to stay focused for the entire 45 minutes. Doesn't mean that you have to give up. It doesn't mean you have to quit and walk away from your meditation. That you can, in fact, everyone can sit there for 45 minutes, right? This is, I think that's the big myth, is that I need to have a peaceful, quiet mind. I need to stay focused. If my mind is wandering, I have failed. I haven't done my meditation the way that I'm supposed to. Well, I'm sorry. Everyone, and especially me, I spend lots of my meditation time mind wandering. Am I intending to wander in my mind? Of course not. I am intending to stay focused, but maybe it's me. Maybe I'm just a person with an extremely active mind, but I find that it's hard for me to keep my attention focused more than a few breaths. So after a few breaths, I start thinking, here's what I need to do later today, or Oh, here's a great idea for a new meditation or a new live practice, or and I think I've heard John Kabat-Zinn say as well, thinking about meditation is not meditating. The meditating is staying focused. So every time you notice your mind wanders, just as best you can, let go of whatever it is. And that's the key. And I think this is the key that I'll be focusing on when it comes to that course about getting to the timer, is that there's really a lot of power in bringing yourself back, noticing for yourself, not having a verbal cue saying, if you're distracted, letting you know, oh, hey, maybe you're distracted right now. Instead of having that verbal cue to actually do it for yourself, to notice, oh, I'm distracted. Can I bring my mind back? You'll find that this is a lot of work and it's tiring, and that 40 minutes can feel like hours. It can be really, really challenging, especially for the novice meditator. And even if you are an experienced meditator, it doesn't make it easier. I think maybe as an experienced meditator, you just have more self-compassion to recognize that you're going to fail often in this quest to stay focused on one object for the entire time. So that anyway, that's why we use the body scan. One of the reasons we use the body scan is because as we really check into this body part, and you'll find that these body parts that the sensations are changing a bit, but mostly the sensations you'll feel are relatively constant. And so because of that, if you continue focusing your attention on your left heel for a long time, you'll not notice that things are changing all that much. And I think that also can be part of the challenge of the practice, is that how do you keep your attention focused? The mind craves novelty. So how do we keep our attention focused when there's nothing new going on? And you'll find that, in fact, this is a part of how the sense of touch works, is that as when I first take my hand and place it on the table, I can really feel very well all of the contact points. And then after a few seconds, the mind kind of equalizes, right? My sense of touch my brain's connection to my sense of touch in my right hand starts to change a bit. And now what was easy to feel on the surface of my palm, and exactly right, my entire palm isn't touching the table. Some of my fingertips are touching, the base of my palm is touching, the middle part of my palm isn't touching, right? And so it's easy, especially at the beginning, as you place something down, as something changes, for you to be able to pay attention to all of the differences. And all of the exact points of contact, and then that tapers off. And so this is another reason why to move around. So pay attention. Okay, here are the toes, here is the heel, here is the ankle, and just start checking in with each part of the body. And one of the additional benefits of doing the body scan is that you have bodily sensations that accompany thoughts, feelings, emotions. So as you get distracted, as thoughts come into the mind, and as you come back, maybe that thought creates some kind of physical sensation. And that's a really powerful piece about doing the body scan. And if you're like me, I don't feel too many emotions in my toes. I feel the majority of my emotions in the chest, in the belly, the trunk of the body, maybe in the shoulders, maybe in the lower back, maybe even in the pelvic region. So, and not to say it doesn't go migrate into the legs and into the feet. So, I mean, this is the really special thing about the body scan, is the more we do it, and if you happen to be a Vipassana meditator, if you've ever gone on the Eshen Goenka 10-day retreat, it's like by about, I think, day 3, you're doing, like, that's the meditation, is the body scan. Just doing the body scan over and over and over again. And by day 3 you're doing the body scan. By day like 6 or 7, the awareness, the tuned inness you're getting to each part of the body. I should say the tuned inness that I got in those parts of the body was really, really fantastic. I mean, very, very concentrated, very, very fine tuned, so that maybe there is some emotion that starts to show up in the sole of the right foot. And I say you because if you've sat on, I don't know how anyone could sit in the Vipassana retreat and not have some increased tuned inness to their bodies, because that retreat is just really intense when it comes to it's just intense in general, first of all. So I suppose it's just, a moment to do a little disclaimer and say I don't recommend everyone go on the Vipassana retreat. I think this is a retreat, maybe it should be like your second or third retreat, because it really is, it can be really deep, and it can be really intense, and it can be really emotional. And if you've never done any meditation retreat before, I have seen beginners go in that end up having challenges, even on the other side, and I've heard stories about it. So anyway, it's a good retreat, but do be cautious and maybe take some smaller retreats before you go dive into the Vipassana retreat. Welcome everybody. Samastar. The body scan has not yet started. I know I'm 3 minutes late. I hope you'll forgive me. And we're going to go ahead and get into the body scan now. So this body scan, the one in the Vipassana retreat, is not guided. So you go on your own pace. In that retreat, you're feeling into each part of the body, and you move on after you've felt some sensation. So what I'll do is I will invite you to bring attention to parts of the body. You may feel sensations in that part of the body, or you may not. And the idea is to keep your attention focused in that part of the body for the duration of me instructing you to keep your attention there. And maybe you'll feel some sensation, or maybe you won't. And it doesn't really matter. The idea is to train our brains to connect into that part of the body, to kind of build these pathways for being more in tune to sensations in the body, whatever they may be. So let's settle in and get comfortable. So you can sit like I'm going to sit today. The major reason that I'm sitting is so that I can be closer to my microphone, so that I can guide more easily. In MBSR, we invite participants to lie down. So feel free to lie down if that's more comfortable for you. If you do lie down, I would encourage you to put something soft behind your head, because 35 minutes is a long time to be lying down. Maybe put a blanket over your body to keep warm, as when we lie down for a long period of time with our muscles completely disengaged, you may find that we cool off a bit. And also, you may find yourself drifting off to sleep. And if you haven't been sleeping enough, if you really need additional sleep, you just surrender into it. However, just want to let you know that to get the maximum benefit out of this meditation, it's best to stay fully awake. So if you find yourself drifting off to sleep, open your eyes. Maybe look at one of the lights in your room, or choose a posture of sitting. It's a lot harder to fall asleep while you're sitting. So if you are lying down, arms just a bit away from the body, palms open toward the ceiling, legs slightly parted, feet gently falling away from each other. feeling into this body. My body. As we do tend to identify this physical structure as mine. The sensations that I'm feeling. Sensations of pressure between my supporting surface and my body. So how do I know that I'm sitting? How do I know that I'm lying? How do I know the orientation of my body, whether I'm sitting up or lying down? Can you feel which direction gravity is? Additionally, can you feel where the body is in contact with the supporting surface? Exactly where it's in contact. So not the entirety of the back is in contact if you're lying down. Your shoulder blades are in contact. Your buttocks are in contact. What about the space in between? Is the back naturally arched? Is there any contact there at all? Can you feel your clothing touching your body there? Or is your clothing hanging completely loosely off the back of your back? So what else is touching? Maybe parts of your lower leg, the heels, the elbows, the backs of the hands, the back of the head. And for me sitting today, I'm wearing shorts so I can feel my skin in contact with the rough material, the rough fabric of the cushion that I'm sitting on. So can you notice the texture of everything that's touching your body as well? So let's gather up the attention. Bring the attention to the abdomen. And sometimes imagining your attention like a spotlight can be useful for holding attention. So if it's helpful for you, imagining there's a spotlight shining down on your belly. Feeling the sensations in the belly. The belly is one of the parts of the body that tends to stay dynamic, continuously moves because we must continue breathing. Can you feel the expansion, and where do you feel the expansion? Is it at the navel? Is it around the navel? Is it towards the pelvis? Towards the sternum? Towards the sides of the body? So bringing a bit of curiosity to the practice today. What does it feel like to be breathing? How do I detect my breath in my abdomen? And when you're ready, letting go, maybe on the next out breath, letting go of a tension at the abdomen, and guiding the attention down the left side of the body, through the left hip, the left upper leg, the left knee, the left lower leg, the left ankle, into the left foot, all the way out into the left toes. So that spotlight of awareness shining down on the toes of the left foot. Bringing awareness there. Can you feel the big toe? Can you feel the little toe? Can you feel the toes in between? How about the spaces between the toes? And what do you feel? So we're not looking for any special sensations. Looking for ordinary sensations, heat, coolness, moisture, dryness, tingling, itching, tightness. Or maybe when you focus on the toes, you're just not able to feel anything at all, and that's okay too. There's no need to wiggle the toes. There's no need to try to create sensations. The only thing we're trying to do is focus the attention there. And so now expanding awareness to the sole of the left foot, the ball of the foot, the outside edge, the arch, the left heel, the left ankle, the top of the left foot. As we now hold the entirety of the left foot in awareness, what sensations do I feel in my left foot as I focus my attention here? That spotlight of awareness shining down. This very important part of my body. What signals am I getting? What sensations can I feel? On the next exhalation, releasing the left foot from awareness. As we guide attention into the left leg, noticing the left shin, the left calf muscle, the left knee, the kneecap, the back of the left knee, the left thigh, from the knee all the way up to the hip. Noticing the large muscles here. Maybe you can feel blood flowing through. Noticing the skin of the left leg in its entirety from the ankle up to the hip. So holding now the entirety of the left leg in awareness. What do I feel here? Again, just looking for ordinary sensations. In fact, not looking for anything at all. With the attention there, what rises up? What natural, normal sensations do you feel? And maybe there is something dynamic. Maybe you feel a bead of perspiration moving down one side of your leg. So what is it? What do you notice here in the present moment in the left leg? And now on your next exhale, releasing the left leg from awareness. And focusing attention in the left hip. Bringing that spotlight of awareness across the pelvis to the right hip. And down the right leg. Through the thigh, the knee, the lower leg, the ankle, all the way into the right foot, out into the toes of the right foot. Again, seeing if this time on the right side, can you feel the big toe? Can you feel the little toe? Can you feel the toes in between, the spaces between the toes? Can you feel all of the ordinary sensations that are here? And to narrate my own experience, I feel coolness. And the cooler temperature allows me to bring that attention to notice each of my toes on my right foot. Now expanding awareness to the sole of the right foot, to the ball of the foot, the outside edge, the arch, the heel, the right ankle, and the top of the right foot, holding the entirety of the right foot in awareness. That spotlight shining down, bringing awareness to all of the subtle sensations we may feel in the right foot. And on the next exhalation, releasing the right foot from awareness, just letting it dissolve into the background as we guide attention into the right leg. Noticing the right shin bone, the right calf muscle, the inside and outside of the right leg, the right knee, the back of the right knee, the right thigh, the quads, the hamstrings, the inner thigh, the outer thigh, up to the right hip. So holding now from ankle to hip, the right leg in its entirety in your awareness. On the next exhale, allowing the right leg to fade into the background of awareness. as we bring attention to the right hip and to the right buttock, the tailbone, the left buttock, the left hip, the front of the pelvis, the pelvic bowl region, noticing even the urinary bladder inside, the genitals, the perineum, the anus, holding now the entirety of the pelvic region in awareness, that spotlight of awareness shining down, noticing whatever present moment sensations you may be feeling. On the next exhale, releasing the pelvis from awareness and concentrating our attention at the tailbone and beginning to slowly move upwards to the sacrum, to the lower vertebrae, and expanding out to the lower back, the muscles of the lower back, the skin of the lower back, maybe even noticing the kidneys, what's inside the lower back. Continuing to move upwards, see where the ribs start to come off of the vertebrae. Curving around to the front, so also bringing into attention the sides of the body. Noticing the ribs here as we continue moving up the vertebrae. Noticing the upper back and the muscles of the upper back, the shoulder blades. So now holding the entirety of the back body in awareness, and including the sides of the body. And as we feel into the back body, are there any symptoms of breath? Can you feel the expansion and contraction of the rib cage on the back side of the body? What about down in the lower back? Is there any movement at all as you breathe? And what other physical sensations, ordinary physical sensations, are there? Could even be some tightness, some pinching, some burning, some tingling. What's there? Rolling out the red carpet, welcoming whatever sensation I'm here. I'm alive. My body works. My body is sending signals to my brain. Maybe it's possible to have some gratitude for that. On your next exhale, releasing the back body from awareness and guiding attention to the front of the body. So from that area of the pelvic bowl and the urinary bladder, moving upwards, Noticing the abdomen. The intestines, the digestive organs. Can you feel any movement there? And then as the diaphragm is moving up and down, changing the space in the body, can you feel the abdomen moving outwards with each in-breath? Inwards with the out-breath. On your next exhalation, releasing the abdomen from awareness and beginning to move into the region of the chest. So finding the ribs, finding the sternum. Behind the sternum, can you feel the heart beating? Can you feel the lungs inside the rib cage, expanding and contracting with each breath? These amazing organs constantly keeping you alive. How do your lungs extract air from the external environment anyway? How amazing. Oxygen coming in. Carbon dioxide, waste products of metabolism going out. This constant communion with our external environment. Feeling the physical symptoms, the bodily sensations here in the chest. Now on the next exhale, letting go of attention at the chest and bringing awareness over towards the left shoulder, down the left arm, past the elbow, past the forearm, past the left wrist, into the left hand. Noticing the back of the left hand, the palm of the left hand, the left thumb, the left index finger, the left middle finger, the left ring finger, and the left little finger. So we feel the back of the left hand, the palm, the left wrist, the left forearm, the left elbow, the left upper arm, the left armpit, the left shoulder. From the fingertips all the way up to the shoulder, holding the entirety of the left arm in awareness now. And on the next exhalation, releasing the left arm from awareness. And from the left shoulder, bringing that spotlight of awareness across to the right shoulder and down the right arm. Past the elbow, past the forearm, past the wrist, into the right hand. Noticing the right fingers, the thumb, the right index finger, the right middle finger, the right ring finger, the right little finger. The palm of the right hand, the back of the right hand, the right wrist, maybe pulsations here, the right forearm, the right elbow, the right upper arm, the right armpit, and the right shoulder. So from shoulder down to fingertips, holding the entirety of the right arm in awareness, noticing any and all normal, natural physical sensations that you notice here. On your next exhale, releasing that right arm from awareness and guiding attention into the neck, to the back of the neck, feeling the vertebrae going up into the base of the skull, feeling the muscles in the back of the neck, feeling the soft tissue in the front of the neck, the blood vessels bringing blood to and from the head, the throat and the larynx, conduit of air in and out of the lungs. And expanding awareness now into the face, to the chin, the jaw, the teeth, the gums, the tongue, the lips. The area under the nose and the nose. Breathing, feeling air moving in and out of the nostrils. The cheeks and the ears. The eyes and the muscles around the eyes. Knowing that right now you don't need to be making any facial expression. Your face at this moment can be relaxed. Noticing the eyebrows, the forehead, the temples, expanding to the scalp, bringing attention to the crown of the head, to the back of the head, noticing where the head is in contact with the pillow or the mat or the rug. the back of the neck. So connecting in there. And noticing the skull if you can. And what about the brain? So from the neck, the face, the head, the back of the head, holding all of that in awareness for a few moments. And on the next exhale, releasing the face, the head, the neck. And now bringing into awareness the entirety of the body, from the crown of the head to the tips of the toes. Noticing any and all sensations. Ordinary sensations. What is happening here in my body in this moment? So now is the time for us to begin drawing our practice to its close. But before we do, I'd just like to invite you to congratulate yourself for having made it through today's practice. So there is tremendous power in bringing attention to the present moment once a day. So keep it up. Maybe set some intention to continue practicing, as this practice is a way for you to have a more active role in your own mental and physical well-being. So well done. Congratulations on making it through today's practice. And I'll close with 3 rings of the bell. All right, thanks everyone for joining. That was 3 rings. The first one was really quiet in case you weren't able to hear it. Thank you for being here. Thanks for joining today. How'd it go? What's the body scan like for you? What was this body scan like for you? And maybe even more generally, what's body scan tend to be like for you? It really is, it's a easier way, I think, for me to stay focused in the present moment. And I really feel like through these years, connecting into my body has just become so much easier because I just have more practice doing it. And besides body scan, I have to say that I do have a regular yoga practice. And so I'm practicing, I practice Ashtanga, the fixed series of postures. So every 3 times a week, I'm doing my Ashtanga practice, and it's also, I find it really beneficial. So having a bit of movement practice can be really beneficial in your own mindfulness practice. And I like Ashtanga because of the fixed series that there's no thinking, right? I don't need to watch somebody. I don't need to think about what's coming next. I know what's coming next, and I can focus on how does my body feel today. Can I touch my toes today? Can I put my palms on the floor today? What's today like? And really using that as supplemental to my mindfulness practice. And the other thing is that, some of these postures that we can get into can help with, flexibility, for example, can help as well. I like inversions, and it doesn't even need to be, usually when you hear the word inversion, you go, oh my gosh, it's like, handstands and stuff. I think downward facing dog is a inversion, and there are lots of benefit to inverting the body and letting the blood flow in a different way because of gravity, right? We're just so used to this way. And I guess the other posture I mentioned is shoulder stand. I really think shoulder stand is quite accessible. It's a great way to get the blood out of the feet. And just feel feel what happens as you do some movement practice, and really, and I guess I wanted to bring it up because in the last 2 months maybe, I've just noticed how much my yoga practice has had a positive impact on my mental health. It's like those weeks where it's like I skip a day, one of my normal yoga days I don't go, and it's like 2 days later I'm like, what? I'm like, wow, I'm in a bad mood today, and I just never. It takes a minute to connect it back, going, oh, I wonder if that was partially due to the fact that I wasn't able to do my yoga practice. And in fact, really, I think one of the biggest benefits of movement practice isn't the movements themselves. It's the connecting into the sensations of those movements in the present moment. And sometimes when you're stretching and you've got a really serious stretch, there's not much else the mind can do but to focus on that sensation. So anyway, it's a little yoga advertisement or mindful movement advertisement. I'm gonna have a look at the chat here. Jean says, this body scan, my wandering mind went everywhere. I feel like I missed it. We'll revisit it again later. And you know what? This is a wonderful time for me to say you didn't miss it. If your mind was wandering everywhere, then that's what today's meditation was. Don't worry about it. You don't have to make up for it. And I think that's the other thing that happens is that we judge it. We go, this was a bad meditation because my mind was wandering. And I think that's something that I'm proud of myself that I've let go of a long time ago. That it's a meditation that my mind was everywhere, and I just went, well, and I can even in yoga, right? I go, oh wow, that posture stunk. That was bad. I fell over when I was doing that posture. Let's do it again. It's time for the next posture. Time for the next thing. And so don't worry about it. You don't have to do it again. And tomorrow I'm not live. So if you want to use it as your practice tomorrow, by all means. But let today's practice be today's practice. Thanks, Jean, for sharing. Barbara shares, I generally sit versus lie down to remain more alert. For me, the spotlight is from inside, but practice today went fast for me. Thank you, Barbara. And I also, the more I practice, the more I like sitting up for the body scan. And the reason is exactly the same, is for alertness, is that I find that I just can't stay as alert. And in the Goenka meditations, we're sitting, and that really is the intention behind it, is so that you can really be more alert and focused. You'll find that I find that when I teach MBSR, I say, okay, everybody, lie down. We're going to do the body scan. About a third of the people fall asleep within like 10 minutes. So, again, not if and I have found some of my participants, they just don't sleep well. and when they're not sleeping well, and that they, insomniacs coming to class, and using mindfulness class to get some sleep. That's okay. Let the practice be yours. And that said, if you want to get the maximum benefit out of the practice, what the practice is for, mostly the intention behind the practice is for you to learn how to pay attention, is to teach yourself through practice how to pay attention. Any other questions, comments, anything before we go? Yeah, Frank's, I finally took him to the groomer here for the first time in Singapore. He had a few knots in his little armpit area. And so now my kids say he looks like a sheep, because he's much less furry. So there you go. This is how I end my meditations, I guess, is show you the fur. Hope you enjoy it. Hope you have a good day. It's about time for me to say goodbye. It's nice having you guys here today. Yeah, that's all. Nothing else. Oh, wait, one more thing. Let's send our well wishes out to each other and to all sentient life. May I be happy and peaceful. May all of you watching, listening, wherever you are, I wish you all happiness and peace. And may all sentient life here on this planet and throughout the universe, may everyone everywhere be happy and peaceful. Okay, take care. I will be in Hong Kong on Tuesday, but I've decided I want to go ahead and go through with that meditation on Tuesday as well. So another round teaching the Hong Kong police mindfulness. So I feel really kind of proud of the police for after all the difficulties that there have been to try a little bit of mindfulness. So round 2, I've taught the first cohort of police some mindfulness activities. So coming here for the second round. So looking forward to that, and I'll be broadcasting from Hong Kong on that morning before I teach the police. So, till next time, everybody. Bye-bye.